Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gods and goddesses, to the Golden Age Gurus podcast, your source for regenerative, entrepreneurial, and eco-friendly global solutions using ancient future strategies that focus on healing ourselves, our community, and the planet. Now, it is truly an honor to introduce your host, Baba John.
Greetings, Golden Agers. This is Baba John, live at Lake Titlan, where I have my beautiful home that this architect, Michael Reynolds, designed initially. We hired him about 11 years ago. And basically, this guy specializes in radically sustainable and autonomous homes. He's a hero of mine, and it's a pleasure to welcome him to the show. I hope you guys are ready to hear from one of the original OG wizards of sustainability, and he basically has designed a home that's a organism in its own right. You tune it to the environment, and I can personally attest that they are a wonder, and his contribution to humanity is what to do with the waste stream and how to, he even gets into emergency response and building these things and disasters. So we don't know what the future holds. This is a good concept to understand, and possibly we'll organize something in Texas after we coordinate with Mr. Reynolds. So without further ado, Michael Reynolds. This show is brought to you on Patreon, where creators are supported by their tribe. For the cost of a latte, you can support the show and my advocacy around fringe legal topics ranging from zero waste and Bitcoin to matters of spirit. I'm committed to serving mankind by providing thousands of years of ancestral wisdom. Learn from my gurus, join my network, and get exclusive content. We have a free tier so you don't have to worry about money, a support tier for just a few bucks, and an apprentice level for aspiring Jedi interested in my mystery school and nature-based ministry. We have a VIP business tier for CEOs who want their own wizard. Just remember, King Arthur had a Merlin and Queen Elizabeth had her John Dee. Historically, I've charged way more as a consultant, but while I wrap my last year of law school, I'm willing to help just to get this new platform going. You'll have access to me with the Voxer app and get access to the Advocacy Launchpad and Discord. Sponsorship is sold separate. If you're interested, message and visit patreon.com, patreon.com/Golden Age Gurus. Follow for free and support if you can. But welcome to the show, Mr. Reynolds. And this is Golden Age Gurus. And I just want to ask some questions about where you guys are at and let the listeners know about autonomous homes.
Okay.
Can you give me a little bit of history?
Well, the short version of the history is that that ever since graduating from architectural school in 1969, I was responding to the media in terms of garbage all over the streets and highways, and talking about a garbage problem in the future, and energy shortages, and then talking about water being a problem on the planet and so on. And I just simply, in my own way, responded to these. I was a graduate architect going for my license in New Mexico. I responded to these things in my own way for my own building, really. And one thing led to another, and these issues kept getting worse, and I kept getting better at doing this to the point where we ended up delineating 6 factors of humanity. This gets into design principles, which is your next item here. We ended up delineating 6 things that humans need to actually live in terms of having sustenance. And they are comfortable shelter, electricity, water, sewage treatment of some kind, treatment of garbage of some kind, because if you know, the minute things go bad, garbage starts stacking up everywhere. So you have to have a system of dealing with garbage. And then food, of course. So these are the 6 things that they have to be dealt with. And right now they're dealt with by infrastructure and government and so on, and business corporations. But you get a problem in a big city, and the first thing that happens is you notice the garbage is stacking up on the streets because if there's a fuel shortage and people can't put diesel into the garbage trucks, etc., or a strike or whatever. So what I'm saying is those 6 things are the sustenance of people. Now, some people may say, I need a TV, or I need this, or I need that. That's not for life. That's not for sustenance. What is needed for sustenance are these 6 things. And we then, as a result of dealing with this and working in this direction for 55 years, we try to build those 6 things, address those 6 things in a building, a home. So the home addresses those things so that you are not vulnerable to the power lines breaking, or not being able to heat your house, not being able to have electricity, not being able to have food. We're trying to make these buildings be vessels that encounter the phenomena of the planet to provide sustenance for people.
Beautiful. Well, I just want you to know that personal heroes, and I'm really grateful for your help with my home in Atitlan, Lake Atitlan, and it's going pretty good up here. I'm here right now, actually. So basically, I know you guys built like an emergency shelter on the other side of the lake. I wasn't a part of that construction, but I mean, doing emergency response and building these in places like Haiti, correct?
Well, yes, we have done a lot of emergency response, and that put us around the world, almost in every part of the world, learning how to introduce this and learning what needs to be introduced as well. And now it's down to the entire world now is like we'd go to a disaster zone, after an earthquake or a hurricane or whatever. Well, COVID and all kinds of other things on the planet right now have in my mind, made the entire world a disaster zone. So we're trying to introduce a vessel for people to live in on this planet that addresses those things that I mentioned, and to keep people, to give them a life, regardless of what goes on, other than blowing up the planet, which is entirely possible right now. But so what I'm saying is we don't chase storms as much anymore. We're trying to set a home base here in northern New Mexico to show these buildings and let people stay in them and teach people how to build them and start them like a virus, if you will, around the world. For us to go around the world at this point is not as important as the world coming here and seeing it done right and learning about how to do it and taking it back to their part of the world. we'll still do. Like we just finished up a project in Puerto Rico, a little villa after the hurricane there. And then we're doing Haiti, but then Haiti's got its political problems. We're doing a school in Haiti, but it's got political problems. So it's come to the point where we need to show this and put people in these things. And we are seeing that we can do it right here in northern New Mexico. Bring people here in terms of nightly rentals, bring people here in terms of long-term rentals, bring people here in terms of education. We have an academy that teaches people the concepts and how to do it, and bring the virus around the world, but not necessarily try to be building in every part of the world, because building takes follow-up. In other words, you can't go to the Philippines after a typhoon and spend 2 weeks and build one of these and leave. You need to keep going back and back and back. That's what we did in Puerto Rico, and we ended up with a beautiful villa after about a dozen hits there. Wow. Going back over the last 2 or 3 years. We're learning that it's a virus, it's a tree we need to plant, but we need to go back and nurture it as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have these wood shortages right now going on for building. I know in Texas and where I'm from, and the tires are cheaper than wood, at least. But you also get benefits like food and water. You can save money on materials doing it this way. Are there other things I'm missing?
Well, you can yes, you can save money on materials. You can use, actually, there's a lot of things like that not only do you save a little bit on materials, because 45% of the buildings are recycled materials, but the thing is, you're using materials that actually are better. Tires are better than wood. Bottles are better than wood. Wood, termites can get to it. It rots, it burns. Tires and bottles don't. Tires, you see tire piles burning, but when they're packed with earth in a building, they do not burn. And so these materials are actually better. They're indigenous to the entire planet, and it certainly makes sense to use them.
Yeah, what do you say to people? Because people always look for a place to hit, and I hear a lot about the off-gassing, which isn't an issue here because it's 70 degrees year round. But what do you tell people about that? Will go, well, the tires off gas.
Well, if you go into a tire store on a sunny day and the sun's shining through the window, they're brand new tires, you smell. That is off-gassing. But we had a physicist, and he volunteered to do it. We didn't hire him to do it. Do some research on this. And what the story is after a tire's got 20,000 miles on it and it's used, it doesn't off-gas even in the sun to speak of anything to speak about. And then in addition to that, it's packed with earth and buried under plaster. And he went on to say that it's a non-issue. Excuse me. But he brought up another very important point. He said, conventional building materials, carpets, drapes, furniture, laminates, they off-gas more than tires by far. And so, for instance, we had a person who was trying to get a permit for a tire building in Colorado, and they were having trouble. It took them a while. So while they were waiting to get their tire permit, most places in Colorado are easy, but while they were waiting to get their tire permit, they bought a manufactured house just to be in while they were building their Earthship. And they got the permit for the manufactured house in 3 hours. And they had to sign a waiver that said they will not have any infants or elderly in the house for 6 months due to off-gassing of the various materials. Bottom line is the off-gassing of tires is a non-issue, and even less than the off-gassing of conventional materials.
Well said. Well said. That was a good response. I'm sold. So that's awesome. I know you had to go into the government and Taos and do some advocacy. And I've heard you say you got to find a pocket of freedom. What can you speak on the code and the changes you had to make in Taos?
Well, the thing is, we have gotten a little crazy with codes. The codes get more and more intense every time somebody gets injured from a building or are sick from a building or whatever. They make another code to protect people, to protect people, to protect them. And the codes have gotten to the point where they do not allow evolution. And we need evolution fast on this planet these days. And so the codes, it's no one person's fault, but they actually inhibit our evolution. And we've tried to make places where codes, test sites where codes don't apply. Pockets of freedom do exist, but that backfired because people started calling up counties and saying, do you have any pockets of freedom? And the county people didn't know what they were even talking about. So pockets of freedom is something it's a term and it is a fact, but you don't want to talk about it because then you'll run it. So there are places where codes are less of an issue and places where they are more. We have done everything we can to warp this to meeting codes, and it does in many ways. We have ways of meeting the codes and still doing an Earthship. And then there are places where you don't need to worry about it. The bottom line is that we need, just like we tested the atomic bomb, and blew apart 10,000 acres and made them worthless for the next 200,000 years. We test airplanes, we test automobiles. We need to test housing. We need to create a situation to test and make housing evolve, because right now the type of housing that we have blows apart in every tornado, needs a power plant to operate it, does do nothing for food, does do nothing for heating itself, does do nothing for electricity, does do nothing for water. The housing we have is a little more than a teepee at this point.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of the book, The Richest Man in Babylon? If not, you can check it out in the bookstore. But it's a classic business book that reveals the key to personal wealth. And it's basically saving 10% every month. So the way I like to save is in gold and silver with MINTBUILDER. I've been using MINTBUILDER for years. I've created a system where my savings plan pays for itself by signing up people who want to save and start a silver bank account, which ships physical coin out every month based on their budget. The author of The Richest Man in Babylon says that magic number is 10% of your income. Now you can build your legacy with the best pricing on metal assets while helping the nonprofit Feed My Starving Children, which uses 90% of donations for food to stop malnutrition in over 100 countries around the world. Thank you for considering MINTBUILDER to build your wealth and feed hungry children. You can go to preciousmetaltrends.com/102026. Complete the form and claim your free silver bullion bar just for taking our short tour and brief survey.
Yeah. So how did you find yourself pounding your first tire?
Well, I started first. I started first with cans and then bottles, and because they were pronounced garbage items, that I found that they worked very well for various things like walls and even bearing walls and so on. And then I looked around and there were tires. Tires were even talked about, 40 years ago as being a problem. And so I just tried playing with them. I stacked up tires like lifesavers and filled them with mud and tried to make a wall, and the wall fell over and things like that. Then I started knitting them together and stuffing them by hand. And then I started seeing that you can take a mallet and stuff it in, and it's a little more strong and sturdy, until we evolved into sledgehammers, beating the dirt into tires to a 90% compaction and make a bomber wall. And so it just evolved. Like everything about this has been evolution. And it has gotten better and better and better as the entire, our efforts, our techniques, our understanding of making these 6 principles, these 6 points happen in a building, addressing them, has gotten better and better and better over the years. And the world around us has gotten worse and worse and worse over the years, to the point where we are, in the right place at the right time. And when the United States of America has people who have to go out into their automobile to turn it on and put their kids in it so they can stay warm, then we've got a problem. And when people have water from freezing pipes running down their stairways, we've got a problem. And when we've got people waiting in BMWs and Lexuses for a sack of canned food, we've got a problem. And so what I'm saying is, people thought we were just a little too edgy 20 years ago. Well, now, while all of that was going on last winter, I was walking down my hallway bare feet harvesting bananas and tangerines.
Yay. So this Earthship we built out here on the lake, we used a concrete rebar roof, and now I have learned how to mix styrofoam with concrete and make something called Epic. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't. See, when you mix styrofoam with concrete, I guess you get kind of a less structural item, but a little bit of insulative. We kind of look at it, concrete roofs, as kind of a lightweight concrete structural potato chip that we can insulate over. But I know I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, EPIC stands for expanded polystyrene infused with cement. And if I had enough styrofoam at the time and I had to do it over, I found it to be lighter and stronger, and it lasts longer as well. So, maybe someday I can give you a dog and pony, or bring the guy that showed me. I actually just used my veteran land loan and acquired 14 acres in East Texas, and it's got a south facing slope and a spring, and the code is easier than other places. So, I was pondering another Earthship out there. Is there anything I should do if with the county?
Now, where is this? What state?
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing is, you go to your county and you ask them what is their policy on alternative methods of building, and then and see, the entire method of building is really called rammed earth now. They call them earth rammed, steel belted, steel reinforced earth rammed units, or I forget what they call them in Australia, something like that. Radially reinforced rammed earth bricks is what they call them. And they're rammed earth is what they are, and rammed earth's been around a long time. So, and we have engineer reports that study and present it, and so it's it's a matter of finding out what their take is on it, and how much engineering data they're going to require, or are they just going to require a local architect to stamp it and be done with it? Every county's different.
I mean, it's should I even ask permission? I mean,
well, it depends on lots of places in Texas. We've done them where you didn't even have to get a permit, and here's what I suggest: is you go to the permit or call the permit office and say, what do you require in terms of permit for residential, for an owner builder building his own home? And a lot of times they're going to say, they're going to say, are you still there?
Yes.
Oh yeah, they're going to say a lot of times that they'll delineate what they need, or else they will say you don't need nothing but a you don't need anything but a septic permit.
Would you make a site visit like you did out here again?
Yeah, we make site visits occasionally, but a lot of times we try to delineate. I mean, we try to do that so that we can maybe make a Zoom site visit or something like that, so that we we can save people the expense of travel and going there. And it's a lot of times a site visit by Zoom is very, very appropriate.
Yeah, it's it's pretty much a pine forest on this side, so I don't know how much detail as far as topography.
Yeah, if it's flat land, and sometimes it's it can't hurt to have a half an hour site visit by Zoom.
Okay. Well, cool. So what's the latest news with you? What's the exciting projects that you're doing right now? Are you just hanging out in Taos and building your empire there, or do you have some
Well, we're doing, we have started a school in Haiti, but it's on hold because of the politics down there. It's dangerous. We have built a demonstration veterinarian, actually, office or clinic in on the Zuni Pueblo in southern New Mexico. And we just finished a villa in Puerto Rico that we're going to try and do a visitor center in there to make the tropical version of this be a little more presented. And then, like I said earlier, we're really trying to hit affordable housing here in New Mexico and just keep doing it and keep doing it. We're building Earthships as fast as we can, which is not that fast. We're building Earthships as fast as we can to show and present to people, to get them in terms of rentals, visiting them, presenting a building that absolutely takes care of you is the best thing we can do, and we're just doing it as hard as we can.
Yeah, I just want to suggest to listeners, if you're ever in the Taos area, you can visit the Earthship headquarters, and that's what I did. And you guys were selling books there, and we bought a bunch of them and got really inspired. So I know that the first book you wrote was called The Coming of Wizards, right?
Right, and it's actually it's available now on. We have it on an app, and it's available online too.
Nice. So the website earthshipglobal.com, right?
Well, you can get to it by earthship.com, earthshipglobal.com, and we've even started a new blog site called World Ecologies that we're presenting a lot of the latest information directly on. Just anyway, of course, the social media and everything. We're just putting things out there as fast as we can to get people acquainted with Earthships and the concept of them. And then there are 3 or 4 models that we recommend. In other words, we just don't recommend a custom home anymore. We recommend, it's like an automobile. You go into the automobile showroom and you buy what they have on the floor because it's engineered and thought out in terms of economy and performance and so on. And we have to face the fact that housing is becoming this. Housing is becoming, it needs to become machines. Houses are machines that encounter the phenomena of the planet to take care of you.
Beautiful. I love it. So the academy, is that on the website as a virtual option?
We do have the online academy and we have the in-person academy. Obviously, the online academy is much cheaper, but it has similar lectures, but you just don't get the hands-on. But the academy that we have here in Taos, New Mexico is you come and you work and you build and you go attend classes, etc.
Beautiful. Yeah, I never did the academy. I just got down and dirty with the house, but I've been definitely pondering getting some more action. So appreciate you having a conversation with me. I'd love to follow up and figure out a budget to get something started in East Texas. Have you heard of a decentralized autonomous organization?
Decentralized autonomous organization.
Yes, sir.
I mean, those are all words that I like. Decentralized.
I thought you would.
Organization, maybe not, but yeah, decentralized autonomy is where we're headed.
Absolutely. So Bitcoin's like the first example, but now people are making basically Bitcoin LLCs or blockchain LLCs. So, that's what I'm into right now is creating a magic internet organization that can spread the gospel of zero waste and all the things that we love. So, hopefully I can muster some resources with the crypto plays and build that Earthship in East Texas. Probably going to be a little more expensive than Guatemala. But,
yeah.
But yeah, so I appreciate you joining me. Is there any way that my listeners can get like a coupon to consult with you or for the academy or something? Do you guys have any kind of coupon referral system?
We don't have that in place, but we could probably email back and forth and create some, some coupon or discount to work with things.
Okay, awesome. That'd be great.
All right.
Have a beautiful rest of your week, and love catching up with you, and be in touch.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
Okay, bye.
Well, there you have it. If you're interested in getting an Earthship, call your local county code office and ask them what their policy is on a residential owner building his own building home and their policy on alternative methods of building, specifically with radially reinforced rammed earth bricks. And then use my link and leave us a message with your email. And Mr. Reynolds says he'll get back to me with an email already followed up with that coupon. And so, send me an email and I'll give you a coupon, and we'll figure out how to get you going. Possibly we can do a Earthship Academy, 4-week academy at my property in East Texas, and we'll see if they want to do that. So stay tuned for more info on that. But bottom line, put some books in the show notes. Also his Garbage Warrior DVD, which I first watched over a decade ago. And we're just really lucky to have this man bring his magic to the world in the form of an Earthship. So, yeah, I guess that's a wrap. And if you guys have any questions or comments, send me a message in the message link, and or give me your email if you want a coupon for an Earthship. All right. So may the force be with you. Hope this benefited your consciousness, and we'll see you again in a week or two.